Hi guys, Mrs. Venti here. Welcome to our video on equations with fractions. This is a grade 10 video, Mind Action Series, exercise 3 on page 49. What you need to realize when we are working with fractions is that whenever we're working with equations, we want to say x equals the answer. The goal is to say what is x. X equals an answer. When we're working with fractions, you want to get rid of the denominator. So you will notice that all of the denominator or all of the fractions that we're dealing with are going to be addition and subtraction fractions. Here I've got x over 3 plus 1 over 2 equals 5 over x. I want to get rid of the fraction, which means I want to get rid of the denominator, and that means I need to find a common denominator to multiply by. What I see is x. Although I see it twice, I'm only going to do it once. So I'm going to multiply by x for all of them. And then I also see a 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2 for all of them. And that is step 1. And this is going to help me get rid of all my denominators. So what I see is that in my first one, x and x cancel out. Second one, 2 and 2 cancel out, and my third one, x and x cancel out. So what I'm left with is 3 times 2. I'll write it out. So yeah, I've got 2 times 3 plus, you've got x and 1. X times 1 is equal to 5 and 2. 5 times 2. So all of my variables and numbers are accounted for. Let's calculate. 2 times 3 is 6, x times 1 is x, and 5 times 2 is 10. So I've got 6 plus x equals 10. Because I want x equals a number, I'm going to keep my x on the left-hand side, and I'm going to take the 6 to the right-hand side. In order to do that, I'm going to say 6 minus 6 and 10 minus 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. 10 minus 6 is 4. So my answer says x is equal to 4. That's my final answer. What did we do? Step 1 was get rid of the denominators by multiplying by the common denominator. Step 2 was writing out whatever was left in terms of the numerator and what we multiplied by. So we wrote it out. Then we moved all of the numbers to one side, all the x's to the other, and we got our final answer. 7 over 2x minus 5 over 3x is equal to 22 over 3. So let's see. I can see that I've got a 2 and a 3 and a 3. So I'm going to multiply by 2 to the power of 1. That's just the 2. And 3 to the power of 1. Although there are 2 3's, I'm only using one of them. Next up, I see an x and an x, so I'm going to use x to the power of 1. So I'm multiplying this one by 2 times 2 times 3 times x, and this one is 2 times 3 times x. Remember, these are all over 1. If you want to keep your fractions, that's fine. So now we can cancel. And this one, I'm going to say 2 and 2 cancel, x and x cancel. I have 3 left. Oh. On this one, I can say 3 and 3 cancel, x and x cancel. I have 2 left. And then on this one, I can say 3 and 3 cancel. I have both 2 and x left. So, starting from the beginning, I have 7 multiplied by 3 minus 5 here multiplied by 2, and that is equal to 22 multiplied by 2 multiplied by x. Okay, now that I've got my straight line, I'm going to multiply them. 7 times 3 is 21 minus, I've got an x on the right. 5 times 2 is 10. And that is equal to 22 times 2 is 44x. All right. 21 minus 10 is going to give me 11 is equal to 44x. Now I am going to divide by 44 on both sides. So x is going to be equal to 1 over 4. X is a quarter. Okay, so now we're going to spice things up because now our denominators are binomials. So my first denominator is 3x plus 1 and my second one is 4. My third one is 3x plus 1, which is the same. So I only write it once. I'm going to multiply by 3x plus 1 and that 4 as well. Okay, over 1, and this one times 3x plus 1 times 4 over 1. And the same over here, times 3x plus 1 times 4. Okay, so I wrote too big. Let's cancel out. First fraction, I'm going to take the whole denominator and that away, which means I'm left with this. That is 2x plus 3, and I'm multiplying it by that 4. And that is going to be equal to 4 cancels with 4, so I have 1 times 3x plus 1. And then my third one is going to be plus, that cancels with that, so it is 4 times x plus 5. Now I am going to multiply it out. So 4 times 2x gives me 8x. 4 times 3 gives me 12. That is equal to 3x plus 1. And then 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, so on the left hand side, everything stays the same. I have 8x plus 12. And on the right hand side, I'm going to add like terms. So 3x plus 4x is 7x. And 1 plus 20 is 21. Okay, now I need to move the numbers to one side and the fraction to the other side. So I'm going to take 7 over. I'm going to say minus 7x to make this 0. And minus 7x over here. Then I am going to say minus 12, because if the x's are on the left hand side, the numbers must be on the right hand side. This one becomes 0, minus 12 over there. So in total, what do I have? I have 8x minus 7x, and that is going to be positive x, is equal to 21 minus 12. So 21 minus 10 is 11. 11 minus 2 is 9. And that's my final answer. X is equal to 9. Next up, we have 5 over x minus 4x plus 3 over x squared plus x is equal to 2x minus x plus 1 minus 2 wholes. Okay, so what I want us to notice is that when we're looking at our denominators, that is a simplified x as x plus 1, as simple as it gets. But this one here is not as simple as it gets. So we can rewrite that one as x. I'm taking x the power out. So x times x gives me x squared, and x times 1 gives me x to the power 1. Now I've got x here, which is the same as that, and I've got x plus 1, which is the same as that. So in essence, this here is going to be my lowest common denominator. I am going to multiply by x times x plus 1 over 1. This one I'm going to times x plus 1. here I'm going to multiply by x times x plus 1. And on this negative 2, I am going to multiply by x times x plus 1. Okay, so let's do this. In our first one, x and x cancel out, so I have 5, and then I have x plus 1. 5 times x plus 1. Minus, that's that sign. So here I have x plus 1 cancels out with x plus. So what we have left is that, which is 4x plus 3. And that is going to be equal to x plus 1 cancels with x plus 1. So I have x times 2x. And my last one is going to be minus 2x squared plus 1. Okay, let me separate it. It's going to be 2x, x plus 1. Okay, so there's the 2, there's the x plus 1, there's the minus. Okay, let's multiply it out. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 1 is 5. Minus 4x plus 3. X times 2x is 2x squared. Don't forget the minus sign. Minus 2x times x gives me minus 2x squared. Minus 2x times 1 gives me minus 2x. Now I'm going to add like terms. I've got 5x minus 4x. That gives me positive 1x. I've got 5 plus 3 plus 8. Over here I have minus 2x squared minus 2x squared. That ends up being 0. So over here, all I have left is minus 2x. That is this one. So I want to have all my x's on the same side. And since I have only x on the side, I'm going to move this one over. Okay, so I'm going to say x minus x. And 2x minus x. So what do I have? I have 8 is equal to minus 3x. Then I divide by minus 3 to get rid of this. And I say divide by minus 3. So technically, x is equal to negative 8 over 3, which is equal to negative 2, which is 6, and 2 over 3. That's my answer for x. Next question. Over here, our common denominator is just x. So times x times x times x. X times x is x squared. This one, these two cancel out, so it's plus 4. And in this one, 5 times x is 5x. Now notice, I now have an x to the power of 2, which means I have a quadratic equation. And since I have a quadratic equation, I want to have term 1, term 2, term 3 is equal to 0. Oh, okay. Once I've got that, I am going to factorize the 2 and they will equal 0. So let's see if we can do that. I want to take this one over to the other side. In order to do that, I'm going to say minus 5x on both sides. So now I have x squared minus 5x. I'm going to write it in the right format, right? So minus 5x plus 4 is equal to 0. My next step is to factorize. So I'm going to have two brackets and they are equal to 0. I'll have an x and an x. And then the factors of 4 is 1 and 4, 2 and 2. Which of the two give me 5? 1 and 4 give me 5. So 1 and 4 give me 5. Minus 1 minus 4 gives me minus 5. At this point, I now know that one of the two brackets, if not both of the two brackets, are equal to 0. So I can make the statement that says x minus 1 equals 0 or x minus 4 equals 0. So in order for me to solve this, I'm going to say plus 1, and that means that x is equal to 1 on the left hand side, and on the right hand side I say plus 4, so x is equal to 4 on the right hand side. And because it is a quadratic equation, we have two values for x, or the graph will cut the x-axis in 2 points at x is 1 and x is 4. On the next page we have 3 over x plus 1 plus x over 3 is equal to 3. Okay, so our LCD, lowest common denominator, is x plus 1 and 3. Okay, so 3, hold on. X plus 1, and again 3x plus 1. So now I'm going to cancel x plus 1 with x plus 1, so I'm left with 3 times 3, and that becomes 3 and 3 cancel, so I've got x times x plus 1, and my last one is 3 times 3 times x plus 1. Okay, now let's calculate. 3 times 3 is 9. X times x is x squared. X times 1 is x. That is equal to 3 times 3 is 9, so this is 9. 9 times x is 9x, and 9 times 1 is 9. Again, I notice that I have a quadratic, so I want to put everything. I want to have term 1, 2, 3 equals 0. So everything is going to the left. So what do I have? Well, let's move them. So what do you want to move? We want to move this, saying minus 9x and minus 9. Here we're going to say minus 9 minus 9x. So that cancels and that cancels. What do we have now? I'm going to start with this one because it's to the power of 2. X squared. Then I'm going to do this. 1 minus 9 is minus 8x. And then I'm going to do that. 9 minus 9 is 0. X squared minus 8x is equal to 0. Okay, I've run out of space. Let's use a clean page. So we said x squared minus 8x is equal to 0. Because it's a quadratic, I want to have 2 x's to the power of 1. What I notice here is that I have a common factor of x. So I'm going to take x out, and I'm going to say x times x gives me x squared, and x times minus 8 gives me minus 8x, and that is equal to 0. Now I've got a left-hand side, which is this yellow x. So I can say x equals 0, or let's do it in yellow so you can see what I'm talking about. X equals 0. And then on the right hand side, I'm going to say x minus 8 is equal to 0. Now I'm going to say plus 8, which means that x is equal to 8. The two values of x is 0 or x is 8. Next question, we have a trinomial over a trinomial is equal to 1 over a binomial. Or we have a quadratic over quadratic equals to 1 over a binomial. So let's factorize. We'll start with the top quadratic. If I had to factorize that, I would say x and x. Factors of 9 is going to be 1 and 9, 3 and 3. Now 1 and 9 either give me 10 and 8, and 3 and 3 either give me 6 and 0. So this cannot be factorized, at least not in this way, right? The bottom one is telling me, let's try and factorize that one. If I wanted to do this, I would say x and x. Factors of 2 is 1 and 2. So I can get 1 and 2. I can say, in order to get plus 1, I'm going to say plus 2 minus 1 is plus 1. So we're replacing this with the blue line. Okay, so now I have common denominators. This is repeated, so I write it only once. So this is my common denominator. I'm going to multiply this by x plus 2 times x minus 1. Multiply this with x plus 2 times x minus 1 in one line. It's not one on top of the other. Okay, now I can cancel common factors. All of this is common with all of that. So what's left is this, which is x squared minus x minus 9. That is what's left. And that is equal to, on the right hand side, x plus 2 cancels with x plus 2. So I have 1 times x minus 1. Okay. I have no denominators. My next step is to put everything, because I have a quadratic, I want to put everything to one side. So I'm going to say minus x, and I say plus 1, plus 1. So that cancels out and that cancels out. In other words, I have x squared. Minus x is minus 2x. Minus 9 plus 1 is minus 8, and that is equal to 0. Okay, let's go to a clean page. So we have got x squared minus 2x minus 8 is equal to 0. Let's factorize. Equals 0. We've got x and x. Factors of 8 is going to be 1 and 8, 2 and 4. Now, 1 and 8 either give me 9 or 7. 2 and 4 give me 6 and 2. I want 2. So we're going to use 2 and 4. To get minus 2, I'm going to say minus 4 plus 2 equals minus 2. Okay. Now I can write the statements that says x plus 2 equals 0, or x minus 4 equals 0. Now I am going to say minus 2 on the left, and on the right I'm say plus 4 because I want to get rid of these and I want x alone. So my final answer is going to be x equals minus 2 or x equals positive 4. Okay, notice how where this is a plus 2, if it's plus 2, then the answer is minus 2. If it's minus 4, then the answer is plus 4. Next question. 8 over a trinomial plus 1 over a binomial equals negative 1. Let's see if we can factorize this trinomial. If we have two brackets, we have x and x. And then we are going to say factors of 6 is 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Let's use 2 and 3 because we want minus 1. So it's going to be minus 3 plus 2 gives me minus 1. So that's off the table. Okay, now I see a similarity here. This looks a lot like that, but not quite the same. So I'm going to change this. First, I'm going to say minus x plus 3, right? So I've changed that. Now I'm going to change the sign because I want positive x, negative 3. So I'm going to change all three signs. I'm going to change this one and this one and this one. So if this one becomes minus, then this one becomes plus, and this one becomes minus. And the reason is we multiply minus in. So all three signs change. Having done that, I now have similar brackets. This here is now the same as that there. What are my common denominators? My common denominators is this blue pair. So I'm going to say x plus 2 times x minus 3. Over here, I'm going to say times x plus 2 times x minus 3. And here I'm going to say times x plus 2, x minus 3. So let's work. On the blue one, these cancel out. What is left is 8. On the green one, x minus 3 cancels with x minus 3. I have a minus sign here. Minus 1 times the bracket is x plus 2. So minus x plus 2. And that is going to be equal to, now I have x plus 2, x minus 3. Go back to this blue section here. You see x plus 2, x minus 3 is actually this gray. So on the right hand side, I have that gray, which is x squared minus x minus 6. Or you can multiply it out. So now I have a quadratic, and because I have a quadratic, I want everything to equal 0. I'm going to move everything this way because this is positive x, and I want a positive x squared. So I am going to say, first I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to say plus x on both sides, which means that cancels away. And then 8 and 2 actually make 10. So I'm going to say minus 10 and minus 10 over here. So what do we have? On the left-hand side, we have 0 is equal to x squared. Minus x plus x is 0. So that cancels. Minus 6 minus 10 is minus 16. Okay. 0 equals x squared minus 16. So now we're going to get a new slide. I'm going to say 0 equals x squared minus 16. I noticed something about this relationship because this is very, very special, right? I can see a difference and I can see a square, and I know that this is a square number as well. So I have difference of squares. 0 is equal to 2 brackets. The first one is x minus 4 and the second one is x plus 4. This means that x minus 4 equals 0 or x plus 4 equals 0. X minus 4 is 0, so x equals positive 4. X plus 4 equals 0, so x equals minus 4. What did we do here? We said plus 4 plus 4. Here we said minus 4 minus 4. To get rid of that, I get rid of that. And that's your answer to this question. Next question, we say minus 6 over 1 minus x squared is equal to 1 over x minus 1 plus 1. So how do we do this? Well, let's start with our x squared, right? This looks like difference of squares to me. So what I suggest, because I like to have my x's first, right? Let's say minus x squared plus 1. Next thing, I want to change my sign because over here I have a plus and I have a minus. So let's change the sign on this side, where if this minus on the numerator is actually over there, right? This is a minus that's given to us, minus 6. So let's change the signs. We're going to change this sign and the sign and that sign. Remember, this is now gone. So how do we change the signs? We are going to say minus becomes plus, minus becomes plus, and plus becomes minus. So now what I have is x squared minus 1. let's do difference of squares there. X squared minus 1 is actually equal to x minus 1, x plus 1. Okay, now I see similarities. X minus 1 and x minus 1 look the same, and then x plus 1 is on its own. So my common denominator is going to be this. I'm going to multiply by x minus 1, x plus 1. I'm going to multiply by x minus 1, x plus 1. I'm going to multiply by x minus 1, x plus 1. So what do I see? I take these two away and I take that away. I'm left with 6. And this is a positive sign, so I don't need to write it. And that is equal to x minus 1 cancels with x minus 1. So I have 1 times x plus 1. Okay. And my last one is going to be plus x minus 1, x plus 1, which is x squared minus 1. All right. So what do we want to do? We want to put everything equals 0. I am going to say, let's say minus 6, right? So that's gone. So on the left hand side, I'm going to have my 0 equals. On the right hand side, I have x squared. Then I have, that's that. Then I have x to the power of 1. Then I have minus 6 minus 1 is minus 7, plus 1 is minus 6. So x squared plus x minus 6. X squared minus x, x squared plus x minus 6 is equal to 0. Or, wait, our 0 is on the other side. It really doesn't matter, but it's okay. So 0 is equal to 2 brackets. And we've got x and x, and our factors of 6 is 1 and 6, 2 and 3. We're going to use 2 and 3. Because we have 1 plus 1, we're going to say plus 3 minus 2 equals plus 1. X minus 2 is equal to 0, or x plus 3 is equal to 0. X is equal to 2, x is equal to minus 3. That's the answer to this question. Last one for this video. Nice. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. The first thing I want to look at is, let's start with our second term and see if we can factorize. The factors of 4 is 1 and 4, right? And then the factors of, let's do that, 1 and 4, and 2 and 2. These are x, 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 x. Now the factors of 3 is going to be 1 and 3, or 3 and 1. 1 and 3, 3 and 1. We want to get negative 8. So we want to get 8. If I say 1 times 3, I get 3. If I say 1 times 4, I get 4. If I add this, I get either 7, or if I subtract it, I get 1. So that's not what I want. This is not the option I want. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 3 is 12. If I add them, I get 13, or I get 11 if I subtract them. So this is not my pair. Next up, I'm going to say 2 times 3, or 2 times 3 gives me 6. 2 times 1 gives me 2. If I add them, I get 8. If I subtract them, I get 4. But what I want is 8, so I found my pair. The pair that I want to use is going to be 2x times 2x, and it's going to be 1 and 3. So in order for me to get negative 8, I want minus and minus. I want minus 6 minus 2 is minus 8. Okay, so now I know that this is actually going to be equal to 2x minus 1 and 2x minus 3. Okay, so that is my second term. My first term, I'm going to leave it the way that it is. Now, after my equal sign, I want to deal with this. What do you see? You see minus 2x plus 3. And we don't like the signs. So we're going to change the signs by making this plus into a minus, that into a plus, and this into a minus. So this is gone, and we are left with minus 2 over 2x minus 3. Okay, now we are looking for our common terms, and it's going to be that is repeated and that is repeated. So this here is our common denominator. So let's multiply by 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 3. All right, first question. We have minus 1 cancels with minus 1. So we have 1 times 2x minus 3. The second one is going to be plus. This entire denominator cancels with both of them, so it's plus 2. And that is equal to, we have minus, let's cancel, 2x minus 3 cancels with 2x minus 3, so it's minus 2 times 2x minus 1. And our last one is going to be minus 3 times 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 3. Okay, so this 2x minus 1, 2x minus 3 is actually going to be this gray part, which is going to be 4x squared minus 8x plus 3. Okay, now let's see. On the left-hand side, I have got 2x minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1, and that is equal to, on the right-hand side, I have minus 4x plus 2 minus 12x squared plus 24x minus 9. Okay, so let's go again. 2x. I can move it already, right? I can already say, because I have a quadratic, I'm going to put everything on the left hand side. So I can say, let's say minus 2x here, minus 2x there, plus 1, plus 1. So on the left hand side, I have 0, and that is equal to, start here, minus 12x squared. Now I'm going to add my x's. Minus 4x plus 24 is that's plus 20x. 20x minus 2 is going to be 18x plus 18x. And then my last one is going to be the ones, which is going to be 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 minus 9 is going to be minus 6. Okay, so let's go to a new page. And what we've got is 0 is equal to 12x squared plus 18x minus 6, right? 12x squared, 18x minus 6. Let's just confirm it's minus 12. So what is the common factor we can take out? Common factor I want to take out is going to be minus 6. Minus 6 times 2 x squared gives me minus 12x squared. Minus 6 plus times 3x gives me 18x. Minus 6 times positive 1 is going to give me minus 6. So 0 is equal to minus 6 times. Now I want to have two brackets. Factors of 2x is going to be 2x squared is going to be 2x and x. Now let's quickly do this. I've got 1 and 2x, and I've got 1 and 1. I want 3, right? So 1 and 1 gives me 1, and 2 and 1 gives me 2. And I want positive, so I'm just adding everything. I have 2x plus 1 and x plus 1. Those are the factors of that trinomial. So now I can say this bracket, 2x plus 1 equals 0. So 2x equals minus 1, and x is equal to minus 1 over 2. On this side, I'm going to say x plus 1 equals 0, so x equals minus 1. And those are the two values for x. Now, I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please ask me in class. Please work super duper hard. I know that you can do this. I absolutely know that you know this stuff. So have faith, be confident, and I wish you all the best. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.